I've never really been one for making massive statements about pickup changes. My first experience with making a pickup change was in a Ibanez RG7421 fixed bridge 7-string guitar, and because at the time Misha Mansour used bare knuckle pickups, I put a bare knuckle in the bridge just for like tracking rhythm guitar parts and stuff like that. At the time, I thought it made a pleasant difference. I couldn't say for sure, and you know, it was the pickup that I was using, but it wasn't like I thought, right, I have to switch that out in all of my guitars going forward or anything like that. Other changes I made, I had some pickups in the Telecaster that I made myself, and my friend Chris helped me wired in Chris from K-Line's pickups for that, and so the neck pickup was designed to be a bit more like a Strat pickup, and I was really happy with the results from that, although I didn't do, you know, extensive A/B testing or anything. So cut forward to this week, and this guitar used to have Alnico slash pickups in it, which are Alnico 2, I believe, right? And it's now got Monty's Underspun PAFs in it, and I think it's a mixture of an Alnico 4 in the bridge and an Alnico 5 in the neck. So apparently the Alnico 2s should have a softer attack, and the Alnico 5s and 4s, so the 5 should have the most kind of clarity, if you'd call it that, or treble or whatever, and Alnico 4 is kind of between those two. So I'm thinking like I hear a bit of a difference there. Also, the Underspun PAFs are wound quite a lot cooler than the Seymour Duncans, although apparently, you know, those tolerances and other things are more important than the actual reading itself. So these are 6.8 in the bridge and 6.1 in the neck, and we got like an 8.3 in the neck of the slash pickups and 8.9 in the bridge. And so, you know, there should be, I think, a fair difference. Like, as far as how different you could get pickups, I think that's kind of on the spectrum of being quite a big difference, right? So I was definitely hearing, I don't know if you feel the same, in the intro there with it was kind of like a slightly driven Vox tone. I was hearing quite a big difference there. So definitely, depending on what you're going for, the slash pickups were darker, and I think more bass and more mids, whereas the Montys had less of the mids, less of the bass, and more kind of balanced towards clarity or presence, this sort of thing. So I'm thinking, although there's not a drastic difference, there's a difference where it's like, okay, well, this then makes this Les Paul a little bit more versatile as someone who's into single coil pickups generally. But what I was thinking is, if I hadn't gone for such a drastic difference and I did the same kind of A/B test, would I even really notice So I'm kind of wondering, putting that out there to the world for you guys as well. I don't think the Montys are potted either, whereas the Slash ones are, so that in theory could give you like a bit more of an airy sound. I think these, because this now has a 50s harness in it, will definitely clean up better as well. But in terms of, you know, what would this do for a guitar that I didn't necessarily, wasn't sure about or didn't like, I don't think this is the kind of difference that is the kind of thing that is going to make you go, okay, this is a totally different guitar now. And let me know in the comments if you've put pickups in a guitar and it has made that change, and you've done like A/B testing, or you think it's made that change but you didn't do kind of this A/B testing thing. I also noticed once you get into the really driven tones, like my normal kind of lead tones, the differences start to kind of get even less. I guess you'd expect that because you're getting more compression, more drive and that. So I think where you can see the most difference are at these kind of edge of breakup-y, cleaner tones. And there you can definitely notice that there's more clarity, less congested mids. Or, you know, if you wanted a warmer kind of darker pickup tone, then going the other route might be the way to go. So I'm generally very happy with this change. The Monty's guys are really cool guys as well and make great pickups. I've been to where they do all their stuff, and you know, it's a small team of people working on these things. So as far as kind of pickups go, I'm really pleased with what they've done. But it's not the most drastic change, you know, so you have to kind of temper your expectations, I think, when you make, or I'm going forward, when you ask for a change or you're thinking about making a change. Sometimes, you know, you might not get as much of a change as you expected, especially if you're then going to measure these things and think, right, well, this was how it sounded before, this is how it sounds now. I think obviously our memories on this stuff can be a little bit tricky as well. So when I initially put out the word, I was considering changing the Slash pickups. I asked on Instagram what people would change them to. A bunch of people said Monty's PAFs, but also a bunch of people said Slash pickups. So I was just interested there. I think maybe these are two of the kind of favoured pickups out there. I certainly know Ox 4, people like those. Lola, Imperial, Underwounds maybe as well might be an option for this sort of thing, for the Monty's thing. Monty's themselves make a bunch of PAF style pickups. Even the Gibson Burstbucker Pros that were in David Beebe's guitar, I think I preferred to the Slash ones. But now when I listen to the Slash ones in comparison to the Monty's, I don't hate those either. Like, there's less clarity, more congested mids or whatever, but at the same time, you know, if that's kind of warmer as well, right? Myself personally, I'm used to the kind of clarity and snap of a single coil, and that's why the Monty's PAFs Underspun were the ones that I asked, could I try those in this guitar? So yeah, subtle differences, I think, not huge, but could make a real difference if there's a guitar that you're kind of on the fence about, maybe. But equally, it's not going to turn a guitar into a totally different instrument. And I think there are definitely other things in the signal chain that are going to make more drastic differences. You know, like changing a cab out is the thing that I'm used to kind of doing, or making a sweep of a mid and treble control. That sort of thing, I feel like I can hear an immediate thing and go, okay, that's doing this or that. In this case, it's kind of a subtle thing. It's like, right, there's a little bit more air, there's a bit less bass, and if I listen to the same kind of playing clip, there's like more clarity with the Monty's PAFs, and slightly less congested mids. Or, you know, if I look at this from the Slash point of view, they've got a bit more bass. And another thing I noticed with the Monty stuff when I was playing, because I've played a few of their guitars now with different pickups, and it does seem to me, because of that clarity and the unpotted nature of them, that you kind of do hear a bit more of this kind of pick stuff and the air, as well as, you know, then what that does necessarily when I'm playing them is it makes me feel like I can play with a wider dynamic range. So it can sort of change your playing style a little bit as well, when you're getting pleasing results from it. Whereas with the Slash ones, because they had a little bit less of that top end, I feel like they get potentially a bit muddier and you're not as inclined to do that kind of lighter touch playing with them. It seems like there was like a little bit less room to play with there. So those are my thoughts on that. I think because I knew that they were going to be underspun PAFs, I was expecting an even bigger difference. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you thinking, what you're talking about, John? There's a huge difference there. Let me know also which ones you prefer. For me, what I'm going for, I think, are for clearer tones, brighter tones in general, so that I can dial in things. And if I want a slightly warmer tone, then I'll do that from the amp. I'd rather have something that was less congested in the mids like these and a little bit less powerful than a traditional humbucking pickup, and with a bit more clarity. That's kind of perfect for me, I think. I'll catch you in another video soon. Here's some other playing with them with the heavier tones. Cheers.